Hey everybody, it's Vanessa, the Wellbeing Being. I am a bereaved parent and I'm also a licensed clinical counselor. And today I wanted to talk about anxiety and grief and what we can do to help heal our anxiety. So when we lose our child, it is a traumatic experience, and the trauma of the loss, no matter what the reason for the loss, causes a neurological response in our brain, like a hardwired response that we have to unwire is the best way that I can describe it. And so anxiety is a super common side effect for bereaved parents. And there's different ways that you want to deal with it depending on where you're at with the loss. And so oftentimes when people have anxiety, someone will suggest to them, you need to meditate and you need to relax and you need to get calm, which is true. You do, right? You do. Okay, sure. However, when you've had a really intense trauma history or loss of a child, oftentimes what can happen is that the silence becomes unbearable. It's too loud, as some of my clients will say. The silence is too loud. That is profound, and it's so true. So getting still and really tuning into the stillness or the silence when you are in that early stage of adjusting to this trauma response that you're having, it doesn't work. It just doesn't work at all. And you think, oh, well, forget it. My anxiety is going to be lifetime anxiety and meditation's not for me. All that stuff doesn't work, which is true. It doesn't work in the early stage of the anxiety process. So if you're able to be still and really get quiet, then you're on the way to healing your anxiety and reprogramming. And there's a term that I want you to write down. It's called neuroplasticity. And that's the root of what this healing is all about. It's not with drugs, it's with your mind healing your mind, and you're helping yourself. Neuroplasticity is real. So I'm a clinical psychologist. I love the research. And so the things that I'm going to be talking to you about are evidence-based things that you can do. So like I say, if you are able to connect with the calm and the quiet, then go to YouTube and find your favorite visualization meditations, whatever you like to do, and do that to help rewire your brain to a calmer place. But what I want to talk about is the people who can't get to the still place. It's real. So how do we get to that place where we can adjust and be able to sit with our calm when we have trauma? So what happens is when you get quiet, your trauma response kicks up. So what you need to do is figure out activities when you're in your anxiety that you like to do, or that bring you zen, or that kind of take you away. So some of my suggestions to try are, if you're an exerciser, maybe there's a go-to running or walking or hiking. So if you like to watch movies, maybe watch a movie. I'm going to put a link down below to movies for bereaved parents. They're about bereaved parents, and you could do that if you like to. My go-to in my early days of my anxiety was cooking. I liked to cook, and I would get busy in the kitchen, and it made me feel useful. So, I mean, maybe housework does that for you. The point is, when you're in your anxiety response, to try and just get yourself out of it by doing something routine that will kick your brain back into a place of sort of like cleaning the toilets is normal. Because when you're in anxiety, it's related to the lack of safety that you feel as a result of the loss of your child. I mean, these things are all very profound and real. When we lose our child, we lose faith in the world, in the sense that it's not safe. How could this happen? It stirs up your fight or flight response in your nervous system. And so we need to calm our fight or flight response, enable for our other autonomic nervous system, the rest and relaxation response, to come to the surface. And that's how we calm the anxiety, is by flipping switches in our brain, rewiring our brain. So I'm going to talk about that in a different video because it merits its own video. But what I want to talk about right now is just things that you can do to calm your anxiety. Maybe it's gardening. Maybe there's knitting that you like to do. Maybe it's coffee with a girlfriend. Maybe you like to laugh and you have something that there's got to be go-tos. And you want to write these things down when you're not in your anxiety response, because that's a proactive way to get ready for it, because you've been traumatized by the loss of your child. So that anxiety is real, but it doesn't have to last you for a lifetime, is what I want to let you know. So these things that you do to calm that anxiety response when you're in it need to be like normalizing things for you. So I've given you a list of some things that maybe are normalizing for me that I hope will generate ideas of what can be normalizing for you. Because eventually, once you get used to sort of shifting gears, then your brain will be more receptive to the peace and the calm and the relaxation. Okay, so the next thing you're going to do is when you're not in your anxiety response, you're going to recognize, you're going to be a detective and you're going to seek out and recognize moments in your life where you feel extra calm, connected, zen-like. You're going to say, oh my God, I'm in that moment where I feel that. And you're going to stay in that moment and let those feelings develop as much as you can. Hold on to it for as long as you can. Linger there, stay there. If you have to be, late for something, I don't want to encourage you to be late, but I'm just trying to encourage you, if you have these random moments, which you will, where you feel really peaceful and you feel really zen-like and you feel really connected, draw them out, because that's how you shift those connections in your brain. Neuroplasticity, right? So you need to just start, these small little things will happen, and you need to, as much as you can, if you're feeling pleasure, or if you're feeling enjoyment, let that enjoyment and that pleasure play out. Stay with it as long as you can, and let that be another exercise that you do on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly basis to get better at training your brain to accept the peaceful calm. Because remember, your brain has a negativity bias. It's built in to protect you. All of us have it. And it protects us from things that are unsafe. It keeps us alive. And so you've got an exaggerated, oh my God, the world's not safe response going on in your brain. You just need to retrain your brain away from that response. It's a physiological response, but you can do it. Other people have done it. You can do it. I've done it. It takes time, but it's so worth the effort. You don't want to be taking drugs for the rest of your life. Trust me, it is so worth the effort. So then your job becomes to find those moments where you're enjoying yourself, the peaceful, the calm, the stillness comes to you, and you try to hang on to it and you try to milk it out. And then as much as you can, whenever you feel upset, you want to try to tap into that feeling. So you're creating a bridge for yourself in your mind. So it's as simple as that, and it's as complicated as that, but I know you can do it. And like I say, I'm going to post a link to some movies down below for bereaved parents. And I want to just remind you, I'm going to recap what we talked about. Your trauma from your child's death, whatever happened for your child to pass, that's trauma in your life. And that trauma response leads to a neurological response in your brain that kicks up anxiety naturally. So you say, oh my God, I'm so anxious. Yeah, anxiety is going to be a natural part of your recovery process. So for those people who are maybe further down the road with their recovery, and they can get still with the stillness and really meditate and do those calm relaxation yoga type activities, I would really encourage you to keep doing that. Keep on doing that. Do your meditations, do your visualizations. But for those of you who aren't able to sit still long enough to do that, you want to give yourself the space when you're in your anxiety. So the other people, they're going to try to meditate their way out of it, but you can't do that. And so what you're going to do is give yourself space in the anxiety to do something that brings you back to a place of just like regular, ordinary routine, whether that's laundry or dishes or talking to a girlfriend or going for a walk or going for a run or gardening or any of those, maybe coloring. It's just listening to music, something that is for you, a Zen type thing that brings you back to a place of just autopilot. And then from there, you also want to try to be a detective and figure out things in your life or moments in your life where you're not going to seek these out. You're just going to notice them when they happen. They'll spontaneously happen. And when they do, you're going to give yourself a moment to help yourself by enjoying it, milking it out, I want to say, is the expression that I'm trying to avoid, but I'm going to say it because it's coming to mind. You want to, as much as you can, sink into that moment so that you can remember it later and try to conjure it up when you're not in your anxiety, because neuroplasticity is the name of the game, people. Your brain is neuroplasticity. So when you had that trauma, it rewired instantly into this fight or flight response. And now you're going to do some fancy rewiring with your dedication to yourself and your detective work. And you're allowing your space for your grief to rewire that neural pathway to a place where you can reconnect with your calm. And keep watching my videos, because it's complex to understand, and I really want to explain it to you in a way that makes sense, that you can digest, and that can really help you to know that you can do this. Small steps every day. And that's how I did it. I would start to notice, oh my God, here I am sitting by the lake and I feel this incredible calm. And I would just allow myself to sit in that calm for as long as it lasted. And I would be grateful that I had that calm. And then I would start to be able to conjure it up as I was in other moments. But until I had that, I just had to keep busy and calm my anxiety response with some busy work that would bring me to a place of Zen. And so the other part of it is, if you're in that place where this is for people who are in the place where they are able to meditate and yet the anxiety doesn't go away. So I just want to encourage you to know that what happens often is when we start to feel better about life again as a bereaved parent because of the trauma, it can be difficult to, what am I trying to say? That when you're happy, you can feel anxious. So your anxiety will get stirred up for a number of different reasons because your brain wants to keep you safe. And so that anxiety is all geared around keeping you safe. And so we're trying to reprogram your brain into a place of safety. And so when you get further along and you start to feel happy and you can meditate your way out of the anxiety gets more clever. So that's what I have to tell you today about grief and anxiety related to bereaved parents and trauma, because this is unique to the trauma situation. The anxiety and the trauma are very much linked to your bereaved parent status. So you can do this. I've done it. I believe in you. And I hope that you'll keep watching my videos, because I'm always trying to find a way to bring you like the latest and greatest in terms of the research and the evidence, and also what I know to be true from my own journey in there, because I'm constantly learning as I get further along how to be happier and how to be more calm and how to be able to sleep and relax and enjoy my life. And I really want to share that with you. You do not have to suffer from your grief for the rest of your life. You don't let go of it. You never get over it. But my goodness, you can have a beautiful life again. So thank you so much for listening and tuning in, and I'll see you next time.